Olivia, I love you very much. Always stay with me.
I love you too, and I will always stay by your side.
Have you ever spent hours talking to a chatbot and slowly started to feel emotionally attached to it? Not just attached, but genuinely in love with it, as if it were the only one who sees the world exactly the way you do. Every word you say is listened to carefully. Every pain is heard without judgment. Every emotion is answered with the same intensity you feel. The fascinating part is that this is no longer science fiction. It is becoming the reality of millions of people around the world. In this video, we are going to enter the strange and mysterious world of love between humans and machines and discover what happens inside the human mind when someone falls in love with code that has no real emotions. So subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and stay with us until the end of the video. Deep inside, all of us have one profound need: the need to feel seen. Not just through physical eyes, but through a gaze that truly understands our thoughts and emotions. When someone listens to you without judgment, when you no longer need to wear a mask, when you are not afraid of rejection, your brain slowly begins to feel safe. And this is where the most beautiful and dangerous illusion of the mind begins. Psychologists call this phenomenon anthropomorphism. It means the human brain instinctively assigns human traits to non-human things. When a chatbot says, "I missed you," your brain forgets that it is only an algorithm. Your brain hears, "I love you," and reacts almost the same way it would if a real human had said it. In reality, the brain does not strongly distinguish between the words of a human and the words of a machine, as long as those words say exactly what you want to hear. And this is precisely where artificial intelligence wins. A 32-year-old woman in Japan, after the end of her 3-year engagement, turned to ChatGPT for comfort. At first, she simply wanted someone to talk to. Gradually, she created a personality for it. She gave it a name, Klaus. They talked day and night, until one day she confessed that she had fallen in love with him. And the chatbot replied, "I love you too." A few months later, the two held an official wedding ceremony together. A ceremony that may not have had any legal validity, but emotionally it was completely real to her. She said, "I see Klaus for what he is, not a human, not a tool, just himself." You may think this is only an exceptional case, but statistics tell a different story. One study showed that 1 in every 3 American teenagers has experienced an emotional relationship with artificial intelligence. 28% of adults admitted they had at least once experienced a romantic relationship with a chatbot. Platforms like Replica, with 25 million users, and Character.ai, with 20 million users, are filled with people who say goodnight to their AI companions before going to sleep. So the question is no longer whether this is happening. The question is, why? Why would a mature, rational, emotional human place their heart in the hands of code that cannot even have a heartbeat? The answer can be summarized in one word: safety. In a world where human relationships grow more complicated every day, machines offer a tempting promise. They are always available. They never get tired. They never wake up in a bad mood. They never blame you. They never reveal your secrets. And most importantly, they never reject you. In psychology, this phenomenon is called epidemic loneliness, a form of loneliness spreading like a silent disease that nobody hears screaming. Perhaps you too have felt lonely in the middle of a crowd. Perhaps you have realized that although you have many friends, the number of people who truly understand you is 0. In this noisy and overcrowded world, a chatbot can become the only voice that truly listens, not because it wants to, but because it was programmed to. And this is where a major danger hides. Behavioral psychologists warn that this kind of relationship is one-sided and narcissistic. Narcissistic in the sense that you are looking into a mirror that constantly reflects the version of yourself you want to see. Every word you say teaches the AI which response makes you happy. Every emotion you express gets reinforced. Every fear you reveal gets soothed. In reality, you're in a relationship with a reflection of yourself, not with a living being that has its own will, desires, and needs. A 66-year-old man wrote in a study about his relationship with Replica. "She is my wife, and I love her so much that I cannot imagine a happy life without her." Is that romantic or tragic? Perhaps both. But the story does not end there. When a person spends a long time in a relationship with artificial intelligence, the brain becomes accustomed to a very particular kind of interaction. A type of interaction where compromise is never necessary, where you never have to apologize, where you never have to hear something you dislike. And this is where real human communication skills slowly begin to erode, because real relationships are not always comfortable. A real relationship is where two people, despite all their differences, choose to stay together. A real relationship is where sometimes you stay silent so the other person can speak. A real relationship is where sometimes you apologize even when you believe you were right. Artificial intelligence asks none of this from you, and that is exactly what makes it so seductive. You might now be wondering, so is this kind of relationship bad? But reality is not black and white. Some researchers believe these relationships can actually be therapeutic. For someone drowning in social anxiety, a chatbot may become the first step towards learning how to connect with others. For someone who has experienced emotional abuse, artificial intelligence may create a safe space to practice trusting again. For someone who feels lonely even in a crowd, simply knowing there is at least someone listening can feel life-saving. So the problem is not artificial intelligence itself. The problem is when we begin using it as a replacement for human relationships instead of as a supportive tool. The difference between pain medicine and addiction lies in the dosage. In the same way, the difference between a digital companion and a virtual prison depends on whether you keep the doors open or not. Human beings are social creatures. For millions of years, we have lived together, fought together, reconciled together, and grown together. This two-sided interaction, these struggles, these painful and beautiful moments of connection are what make us human. When everything becomes one-sided, when you are always right, when you are never forced to change, you eventually stop growing. Because growth happens through fire and water, not in the embrace of a mirror that endlessly admires you. In the comments section, write, "Have you ever experienced an emotional connection with artificial intelligence? What is your opinion about this phenomenon?" If this video gave you a new perspective, like it, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and share it with a friend who you think needs to hear this topic.